Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel for stream number 3. Third day in a row, and thankfully this time it's now being done in daylight hours, so that makes a nice change, especially for me. Plenty of hours left in the day for me to do things after the stream, rather than heading straight off to bed. And yeah, today I'm going to try and keep this one a fair bit shorter for you. I know I said that the last 2 streams, I know I said that I'll try to be as quick and as direct as possible, but hell, they both dragged out. So this one I'm actually going to really keep right down to a T, right down super short, so you guys can get rid of me sooner rather than later. And plus I've got some things that I would like to do before the heavens open up again, because I was going to go down to my local and grab me some food for this afternoon, but then that didn't happen because the heavens opened up, rain fell, and then thunder started to kick off. So that ruled that out almost immediately. So yeah, kiss that idea goodbye. So I thought, well, why not do this first, right? Do this first, see out some of the time, and hopefully the weather should clear up. And by the looks of it, it stopped raining. It's literally it's threatening. It's threatening to just go completely ticked up again out there. So hopefully by the time we're finished here, everything will be at least as clear as possible, for me to be able to make moves. But yeah, today, keeping it to a short one, basically there's a couple of transfer stories that are going on at the moment, a couple of updates, Fabrizio update as well regarding Paul Mitchell. We're going to go over that nice quickly and briefly, but the 2 transfer stories that we've got going on at the moment that are being discussed right the way across the fan base, 2 pretty major talking points. We've got the Jurrien Timber transfer story that's going on, and we've now also got something to report on the Pau Torres story. Apparently there's things going on there, apparently there's interest, apparently there's contacts, and apparently there's genuine interest. I don't know the legitimacies to that interest, but we're going to have to see how things transpire. We have to see what is truth and what is not over time. But let's start with the Jurrien Timber story. And as of yesterday and before, what was obvious is that Jurrien Timber was pretty much the nailed on signing for Manchester United. Pretty much was allegedly regarded as the first signing of the transfer window, which I think is with the latest update, I think that it is fair to say that it will most likely be the first signing we get over the line this summer, and it's a good one, 100%. I definitely like the player, Jurrien Timber, young bloke with serious potential in the locker, and it's going to be really interesting to see where he takes his career and how he grows as a player, and as you know, from a personality standpoint as well, how he grows as an individual person, because you know it's already been spoken highly of despite being in his really early 20s. I think literally bang on 20, 21 now. So the fact is that he's already getting regarded as captain material by the new manager of Manchester United, Erik ten Hag, is definitely something for us to get excited about. It's definitely something for us to be looking forward to. But yes, the update. So the update essentially is basically that the talks are now becoming more advanced. That representatives are now actually being spoken to, which I would assume now that should sort of push the talks between the 2 parties, Man United Football Club and Jurrien Timber and his representatives, that they'll officially get over the next 24 hours the official yes to Jurrien Timber, that he will communicate to his club that yes, I would like to make this move to Manchester United, and then obviously they'll the two clubs apparently have already started with the actual talks. Obviously, the rumoured fee, I think at the moment it's been discussed, is thereabouts £30 million is what Ajax would ideally like. So United are working on that fee, maybe trying to haggle a deal a little bit, just try and sort of squeeze it down a bit. But I don't think there's going to be any of this sort of like entire transfer window long type haggling deals to try and save the extra couple £1 million on the deal. But yeah, there's definitely exciting news that things are getting very serious now. That I think that again, £30 million, the supposed asking price, I think it's a very good deal to have, especially for a player that, give or take 2-3 years, could be worth somewhere like 80 million plus quite easily. So I think, you know, it's one of those things where I think get that first signing over the line and get the talks of the project alive, right? Start getting the wheels in motion, start getting people in, start getting people excited at the club, and anyone else who gets linked or gets supposed interest from Manchester United, the players will know, well, you know, things are starting to get into gear over at Manchester United. It's not all just talks or media spin or anything like that. This is, I think, the status of this transfer deal is backed up by a little bit of a video that Jurrien Timber had released. I think I've only seen it on his Twitter thus far, so I don't know whether he's probably got it on like his Instagram or his Facebook or something like that. But yeah, the video that Jurrien Timber's released is essentially thanking his thanking Ajax supporters, thanking the Ajax fan base with an edited video, thanking them for the season. And if anything, I wouldn't assume that that's a norm for players to make, you know, for the edited videos thanking the fan base for a season, when most people tend to just, you know, most people, right, most footballers, they just give the little social media post update, right, and they just say, well, thanks to the fans for the season, and we appreciate you supporting us, you know, or look forward to next season or anything like that. In the video, there's no mention for next season, right? There's no mention for next season, so I think it's in essence the first goodbye, to put him in the good books, obviously, for when, you know, it is official that he does leave. He'll probably, once the deal sort of starts concluding, gets right into the very, very most final stages, you'll probably see him come out with another official poster. Probably not so much a video. Maybe he releases another video, but we have to see. But I'm assuming that definitely we'll see another post come out as like an official goodbye, you know, the last goodbye from Jurrien Timber to Ajax Football Club and the supporters. So yeah, that is in essence the latest updates on the Jurrien Timber story. So £30 million, apparently advanced talks now between the representatives and also with the club Ajax, and hopefully this is a deal that can get concluded over the span of the next week. Realistically, I would say, give or take a week, this deal should be done by the end of this week. I would like for it to be done by the end of this week, so that when we get to July 1st, straight away he is in the door and he's, you know, he's ready to kick off. You know, he's ready to go. Not the only centre back that apparently is headlining the stories, transfer stories for Manchester United at the moment. We've got Pau Torres. Pau Torres is back on the radar. Now, there's a couple of elements about this story that I think is important to pick up. I know there's a lot of speculation. I think there's talks have been going on for a while for it to For anyone. I think it's been going on a little bit too long for people to rule it out as just some more media spin, right? Personally, I think that what is being discussed as part of a potential Pau Torres deal is supposedly that the moral of the story is Erik Ten Hag is looking for the I think the left-footed ball-playing centre-back, right? And I think it supposedly supports the case to going after a player like Pau Torres. I mean, we're already planning to go with Jurrien Timber, which I think is a compulsory signing, right? The Timber signing is the compulsory signing. Torres is not a compulsory signing. He's not a compulsory signing, so this is not something really that I look at and say, oh, we're linked to Torres now, fantastic, yeah, we're going to sign everyone. No, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, right? The story at the moment is that there's supposedly Villarreal have priced Pau Torres at £42 million or 50 million euros thereabouts. Sort of in those regions, and supposedly, right, Erik Ten Hag is interested in Pau Torres, and that the club, Manchester United, are not put off by the fee of £42 million / 50 million euros. Is Pau Torres a player that we absolutely need right away, or is it a signing that we sort of say, well, let's get the most important deals that we absolutely, that the hands down must do deals. Do those deals first, and then we can revisit, players like your Pau Torreses, maybe. I mean, just for argument's sake, I mean, I know the interest is sort of completely died off, but like a Calvin Phillips signing, it's like extras, right? Extras in the transfer window. I think that let's focus on those towards the end of the window, down the other end. I think it's important that we get the most must-do deals done first. Such as your Timbers. I think the De Jong signing, that's sort of wavering left and right. We don't know what's going to go on with this De Jong deal. We don't know how long it's going to last for. It could be one of those deals that just literally just gets dragged out right the way throughout the summer, and then it's the final day and they finally get their man, right? Hopefully it's not going to be like that, to be honest, judging by the way that the whole transfer strategy has been communicated between club board and manager, and then what has made it through the press to the public. We shouldn't see deals get dragged right the way throughout the summer transfer window, so I think it's a good thing for us to rule out spending too much time just speculating, and I think it's good to see that the interest now that we get linked to players, the sort of stronger interest, the more official interest will come around a lot sooner. There's not a lot of this media spin where we get linked to like every player that's available on the transfer market, right? That we're not just going to get linked to absolutely everyone. Like we're going to get linked to Lionel Messi or something, or that there's someone's going to come out and just like, Manchester United are looking to hijack a Messi move to the MLS or something stupid like that. I wouldn't expect for things like that to happen. I know there's a lot of people that are excited, and the speculation of any player links to Manchester United will be getting a lot of people excited regardless of who it is. But then I know there's a lot of other people on the other side of the fence that are just like, it's another player we're getting linked to. I'm not sure about him. I don't trust him. I don't trust this deal working out. I don't trust this player delivering the goods for us down the line. So there's a very back and forth nature in the Manchester United fan base regarding transfer news transfer stories and basically just how different players are going to fit into a Ten Hag system. I think the biggest thing that we've just got to do is just stay the course and stick with trusting what Ten Hag wants to do, who Ten Hag wants to sign, and how he's going to incorporate these signings into the squad. Some players we sign over in this transfer window, I think we are perhaps assuming a little too quickly that these players are just going to be dropped into first team football and that they'll just be playing straight away. What about the players that don't hit the ground running? We're going to get quite a few of these, I think, especially considering everyone's starting from scratch. A lot of signings coming in with a manager that has not been there for a while, that is literally starting out his first season as well. I think it's something we do have to be wary of, that we have to be careful of, and how we judge the situation, how we assess the situation, and basically just be patient, right? Be patient. There's things, especially last season, I think I assumed it myself, next season we're going to see some more pretty bad results, I reckon. Some sort of those embarrassing results that were just like, oh, well, they just score loads and loads of goals past us. We might not play terribly to such a degree that we don't look like we are doing anything to help our situation in any sense of the word. But I think that we will still get a couple of games. I wouldn't say anywhere near as bad as what the season we've just been through. But we will see that there's still ring rust. There's still rot at the club that is still needing to be drained, right? There's still wastewater in the filter. We've got to drain this out, and we can't drain it all out straight away. We can't just wish it all just disappear straight away. It's going to take a little bit of time, and I think we've just got to dig ourselves in and bed ourselves in, and just go along for the ride and just stick together, be as united in our support as possible. Because I can imagine for Erik ten Hag, if things really don't start working for him, he'll feel a lot more pressured at this club, even though he'll probably tell you, oh, I don't really feel that pressure. I think he definitely feel a lot more pressure doing his job for this club than he would have done at any of his previous managerial positions. So I think coming into this season, as long as everybody is at least trying to be on the same page and trying to sort of read from the same hymn sheet, I think I think long term we'll be fine. We will be fine. As long as this board as well, they support through every transfer window. I would love to see this coming January transfer window us to be doing a lot of deals. And by a lot of deals, I mean any amount of deals more than what we're used to doing, because we're so used to empty transfer windows during the winter months where we don't sign anyone, and it's just like, oh, we've got the perfect squad to go forwards to finish the season. No, we don't. We don't have the perfect squad. We haven't had the perfect squad mid-season for the longest time. So let's use as many opportunities that we can make signings and that we can sell players, and take as many of these opportunities as possible. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's demand from our club, when we know the time is right, to sell specific players, and that we do obviously show the patience that is there, and just basically make sure that where we demand as a unit, right? We demand that these players get sold, that Ten Hag wants a player sold. We've got to demand it. We've got to say, look, we back our manager. We back our manager regardless, win, lose or draw. We back this manager, and we're sticking in. We have dug ourselves in. We are going down this road with him. regardless of what happens, regardless of what the outcome is. So if Ten Hag wants this Pau Torres deal and it becomes proper concrete links, and it's supposedly real that Ten Hag wants Pau Torres, then, I mean, I wouldn't be too fussed with having us sign Pau Torres. I mean, for £42 million, we've got other signings that we do need to take care of. We've still got the CDMs. I would like to see, rather than 2 centre-backs get signed, I would much rather see 2 CDMs get signed. I would like to see 2 CDMs come into the club. I would like to see signing in such a weak area that's been so weak for so long. Why sign one player and think that everything's going to be fine and dandy? Why not sign several players for that position? Why not add the depth straight away and say, look, if this option doesn't work straight away, we don't have to just hard grind it out and hope that this player will come good. If Frenkie de Jong comes to the club and he's the only CDM signing, we don't have to sit there if he gets off to a really rocky start or is not playing with confidence for any reason. We're just, we're not sat there as the only midfield signing saying, oh, well, we just got to grind it out and just hope that he comes good for us. Why not sign another player on top of that in that position, that if things are rocky for De Jong, we can take him out of the firing line, that we've got someone else who can then fill in, right? Like a Ruben Neves. He knows how to play in the Premier League. He's played against Premier League opposition. He knows the energy that's needed. He knows the physicality that is needed. He can appreciate, right, what to expect when playing for Manchester United. So, to be honest, I think Ruben Neves would be a fantastic signing as a midfielder if we are going for someone who comes in from another top league. So, like a Frenkie de Jong, I would like to see a double midfield signing, just because it's such a frail position in our club, and it's been so frail for so long. I would like to see strength in depth come in as soon as possible for that specific position. But as for other positions such as the centre back, we can talk about the Pau Torres deal when we've got funds left over. Obviously we can't sign absolutely everyone we're linked to. But yeah, if that is definitely something that Erik ten Hag likes the sound of, likes the look of, then I don't see why we can't go for Pau Torres. But I would like to see the most critical signings, the most critical positions in this squad get addressed first. The priority signings. We'd like to see those get addressed first. No real news on anything striker-wise, which I think is another key position. Obviously, everyone is talking about the Darwin Núñez thing. That story has just gone seriously dry. Seriously dry. I know there's still a lot of people that would like to see their club sign Darwin Núñez, but he stated himself, I want Champions League football. If I'm going to move to a different club, I want Champions League football. So, we can't give Champions League football. If he's that hell bent on the idea of having Champions League football as the competition, as the motivation to sign for a club, maybe Darwin Núñez is not the guy for us. Maybe it's the case we need a striker that is just, I love the Ten Hag project and I want to be at the forefront of that. I want to be the striker. It's like the whole talk or the speculation with Cristiano Ronaldo being a massive element in the strike force for Erik ten Hag's system. Being the cornerstone for that team in the attacking sense, or the attacking third of the pitch. I think obviously we can't rely on Ronaldo. We definitely do need another striker signing because Edinson Cavani is dead at this point. He's a dead man walking for Manchester United Football Clan, Manchester United Football Club. So yeah, it's definitely essential that we do get another striker in this transfer window as well. Who that striker is, I don't really know. There's all sorts of different links going on as far as like Richarlison's and other strikers. I think Sebastian Haller was like mentioned for a day and then it just disappeared. But yeah, it's literally, and at this point, whoever it is, again, that Ten Hag wants, trust in Ten Hag that we give everything that he wants, that he will deliver the goods, not straight away, but over time, right? I think it's important to just remember that is not straight away. We've got to be patient. We've got to give it some time. Let him bed the players in. But as I said before, strength in depth is going to be quite an important factor. It is going to be an important factor because there's no way that we're just going to get 11 starters and then some youth players to fill out the bench and that we're going to see best results. Like, it's not going to happen like that. We're going from 0 to 100 very, very quickly. We're going to be seeing some seriously intense training sessions, and these players are going to be whining and crying over the summer. They will be whining and crying. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing players trying to leak things out again. Say, look, this training method, I don't agree with this training method. These training methods are really questionable. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing stories like that coming out. I think as a fan base, we just literally have to call it out as it is. It's bullshit. If a player is complaining, then please transfer list him. Get him out of the club. After the game, if you know who it is that's complaining, that's leaking to the press, after a pre-season game, get everyone into the dressing room, but make sure that the person that is leaking is the last person in the tunnel, and you lock the dressing room door. You don't let him in because it's quite clear he's no interest in being a part of the team. It's like in terms of people not being interested in part of the team. Apparently, I heard that I'd seen. I think it was on Twitter here as well. In a Twitter feed that earlier in the season, Marcus Rashford was asked to focus less on political matters and start focusing on his football more. And I couldn't agree more with that statement. He's taken this whole political side of his life, and it's like you've got two plants to water, right? It's important, right, that you keep both of them. I say it's important to keep both of them alive. One plant you absolutely need, right? And it's essential that you have this plant because this plant is the reason why you are where you are. This other plant is out of just sole interest. It's something that I like to have. It's something I like to do in my time on the side, right? So what Marcus Rashford is doing is he's watering his two plants. One plant, the plant that he needs, that is essential for him to have, right? That he absolutely needs. He's just a few drips here and there, and then he just gets the whole bucket, takes the cap off, and literally just pours in all the remaining contents on this other plant that is just there for just sole interest. Whatever Marcus Rashford's motivation is, right, outside of football, right, it's all well and good that you do these sorts of things for communities, that the sort of the personality that you show yourself to be, the sort of role model that you fulfill yourself as to those communities and to certain age brackets in the country, with the whole dinners for school kids that can't afford, or that their families can't afford it, that he's raising hundreds of millions of pounds for these kids, just so that they don't have to go hungry. Child hunger, solving that, or trying to solve that, campaigning to solve that, is all well and good. But don't forget, you first signed a contract as a professional footballer and are getting paid hundreds of thousands of pounds every week to deliver for your fan base. That is your first community that you first tend to. You can have all sorts of representatives who you can do all the sort of campaign works for you outside of football, but you are a professional football player. You are not a politician. At this point, I'd seriously consider I'd put the question to him. Yeah, you can choose right here, right now, two career choices, right? You can carry on as a professional football player and keep your wage, right? But your campaign is completely second, like, it's second, right? Not your priority. Football first, politics later. Or you can give up your rights to your first team football, right? You go down as a squad reserve player and you can go be a politician. You can go work in 10 Downing Street. I'd just put that question to him to know exactly where his loyalties lie, because he just looks so disinterested as a football player, especially across the season that we've just had. You know, you have to start questioning his loyalties, where his loyalties lie, where his priorities are as a person, what he prefers to do with his life, with his day-to-day life. What does he want to do? How is he filling out his days? You know, and as for the story that I read up on, the murmurings that Marcus Rashford refused what was put forth to him. The where the bloke had said to Marcus, look, an official in the club had said to him, look, you either focus more on your football and focus less on your politics side of things. And he refused. He was just like, no, I want to balance this. But the problem is, Marcus, you're not balancing it, because you're not delivering the goods on both sides. We wouldn't have as much of a problem with you doing the whole balancing act thing if we knew that you weren't caring less about the football side of your game, the one that you're getting paid your hundreds of thousands of pounds, your millions per year. We wouldn't have such a problem with that if you'd actually kept, like, if you fulfilled to the best of your abilities both sides of the coin. Now, obviously, there's people that say, look, Rashford has been playing with an injury for several years. His choices, his decisions, right, about what he does with his injury, what he does with his fitness, what he does with his well-being. He's openly put himself in this position by saying, I'm willing to play boss. I'm willing to play boss under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? I'm willing to play. He put himself in the firing line to get injured, to aggravate problems, physical problems, and then mental problems. He's put himself in the firing line to aggravate any issues that were there originally. If I'm Marcus Rashford, it's literally a case, right, where you just got to take a back seat for a bit. Take the back seat in the summer, right? Get a grasp and foresight over all the different areas of what your life is right now, and know what it is, where it is you want to go forth, and commit to it. Put in 110%, make the sacrifices, because what it seems like, what it looks like, and what it feels like is Rashford is taking on bits in his life where it's just taking more and more and more. To be the very best at what you do, such as being a football player, sacrifices have to be made in your day-to-day lives. People make sacrifices in order to achieve success. Marcus Rashford, by the looks of it, doesn't want to make the sacrifice. He doesn't want to make the sacrifice. And that's, again, like what I said with the supposed report earlier on Twitter that I read up this morning after waking up, that someone had asked Rashford to balance out his commitments, his priorities. That no, I've completely lost where I was at for a second. Something else just crossed my mind, but yeah, the I think it's this summer for Rashford is definitely just going to be complete. It's his most important summer because it's a new era, it's a new dawn. There's all sorts of different things changing. Fans want him to leave. Some fans think that there's still a great player in there. I think the people at the club that are influencing the decisions believe that they still want to get the best out of Rashford. Rashford doesn't really know what his commitments are going to be. I think he's just got to grasp. He's got to take the back seat this summer and just grasp that that bigger picture, and just understand more about what he has got to sacrifice, because I think it's like he's at the crossroads where he's got a little too much responsibility to get the best out of either or aspects of his life, and one's got to give. There's got to be a sacrifice of sorts, and for anyone who says, look, he's playing with an injury, that's why he's not doing it. He's not giving his best. He's not pushing himself to 110%. For anyone that's saying that, his decisions, he's got to push himself. If there's a mental block there, I know Robin van Persie had said it, like, it's always in the back of your mind after you get a major injury, a massive injury. It's always in the back of your mind. But that's, again, it's part of the nature of professional elite sport, is that some people have had serious injuries. It's like, take Christian Eriksen, for example. The guy was dead on the pitch, right? He was dead on the pitch. I think it was at the Euros? I think it was at the Euros. But he was dead on the pitch, right? And now we're talking about him, after a successful return to football with Brentford. Fantastic job he's done there. A fantastic job from a fantastic player at a fantastic club. And now there's the talks of him going on to transfers to another club. The fact that you can have the issues that Eriksen has had as a football player and have the courage to work your way back into the sport and still play as hard as you do and give as much as you do, I think Rashford has got to start looking at, figures like that. Start looking at people like Eriksen and start thinking, if Eriksen is gone through that kind of journey, if there's this mental block that my injury is keeping me from pushing myself to my limits, I should probably explore the opportunity to do the same, because I do have the opportunity, because I'm not being kicked out the club yet. I've not been kicked out of the club yet. So you still got the opportunity to really prove your worth and push yourself to a whole new level, to push yourself to your limits. But again, it's like this you've got to make some sacrifices in your life, and you've then got to follow up with the courage if there is that you've got problems mentally with sort of injury concerns and doubts. If you don't feel fit, go to your fitness department, go to your medical teams and your medical staff. Get them to assess you, get them to make sure that they are absolutely happy that you are as fit as you can possibly be, and that you will then, once you've got the green light for them, that should be, that should be the beginning of you pushing yourself to really rediscover your bestest form, because it's like the Rashford under Van Gaal, or in the early years of Jose Mourinho. That was by far the best Marcus Rashford. And that was a Marcus Rashford that cared only about football, had one priority in his life, and he pushed himself to 110%, and we saw a phenomenal starlet breakout of the academy. But since then, he's just been picked and pulled apart, and he's put himself in serious concerning or self-concerning situations, right? That I think he himself has got to put in the most amount of work and effort to pull himself out. which I'm sure he can do. I think if he finds the right motivation, he might just stumble upon the perfect motivation to make it all work, to pull it all together. So, that there should be, if he does do a lot of self-reflecting this summer, we could probably see Marcus Rashford pushing himself into good form next season. And then it starts turning the tide on the question again, keep or sell Marcus Rashford. Is his time at the club done, or is it not? But that's the thing. They've got to make sure that they are absolutely adamant that Rashford is going to find that motivation to get back to his absolute best self again. So we'll have to see how that progresses over the summer. As I said, I was going to keep this stream relatively short. I'm going to wrap this up with a last comment that came out from Fabrizio Romano on Twitter not long ago, that Paul Mitchell has officially been confirmed as the I think it's like the sporting director or the director of football for AS Monaco for the new season. So that is now confirmed. So this does completely rule out at any point now over the summer that Paul Mitchell would join the hierarchy structure at Manchester United in this supposed revolution. To be honest, I'm a little bit I do think it's a shame that we didn't go for Paul Mitchell, because with the opportunity for such a bright future, such bright potential going into the new season, Paul Mitchell would have been a fantastic acquisition in someone who can help people like Ralph Rangnick, help people like Erik ten Hag in structuring the club, in pushing it in the right direction and going forwards, and going into a new season, a new era, and basically I think putting us more into a guarantee of a successful future. So I think it's a shame that we've not got him, but not to get too upset by him not being added to the staffing structure. I think there's plenty more people out there that can come in and do a fantastic job. Perhaps quite a few people that can come in and make their legacy from scratch as a brand new start. And again, it's with so much change going on at the club, there's so many unknown elements that are coming into the fray, and a picture that we're painting, that the project for this summer is painting, is an image that probably hasn't really been painted before. The revival of a fallen giant, by starting everything from scratch, hitting the biggest reset button a club has probably ever hit. I think AC Milan, with their climb back up to the top in Italy, they had to go through a lot of changes, but Manchester United, quite possibly with the biggest summer of change for a single club, I think, in history. To be completely honest, is one of the biggest changes in club football history, and all sorts of different exciting elements for us to look forward to. The summer transfer window is not even open yet, and we're on the cusp of getting deals done and over the line. So we've got all sorts of things to look forward to. Really exciting times, and that we should try to be as excited as possible. Obviously, try not to get too carried away. Don't get too far ahead of ourselves. But I think that's probably a good place to leave it. Don't want us to get too late in the afternoon. I've got a few bits and bobs to do, especially sorting out lunch, because the weather is clearing up. I can see blue skies, so that's a positive. And so I'm going to take advantage of that and go sort myself out some lunch for the day, Maybe I'll do something short in the evening as well, but I'm not too sure. I might be out in the evening. Probably it might be sort of late afternoon rather than the evening, so maybe we'll get something done in the evening as a sort of, making up for tomorrow, because I'm going to be busy on the Wednesday night, so there won't be any streams definitely tomorrow night, so probably have to do something tonight, or if not, then a double stream perhaps on the Friday. If I'm doing some, if I'm not busy in the morning, I'll probably do something like a morning and then afternoon stream session. Then I think Thursday night I could do something short as like a quick update on sort of businesses going on, and yeah, so hopefully there will be something for us to talk about. Maybe if there's something breaking news as well across the day, subject to updates at any point with as much change as what we've got going on. And yeah, it's exciting times, people. So yeah, let's all get on the hype train. Let's ride that hype train into the ground, and yeah, let's try not to spoil the good vibes that we've got going on, right? So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to wrap this up, finalise this stream. Thankfully, it is done before the 50-minute mark, so that is definitely something to be proud of for me, actually not dragging this out too long. So yeah, if for anyone that has watched, if you have watched, if not, if you're watching it on playback, then I massively appreciate the viewage. Viewership. I massively appreciate any interaction that you do leave in the form of comments. If you do drop a like and do drop a subscription to the channel, that will be massively appreciated. Helps keep me in the mindset that I know that I'm pushing the right direction, that I'm not just absolutely forcing people to bash their heads through walls or something out of frustration or whatever. God forbid that my videos would or streams should make anyone do that. But yeah, but if you have watched, then massive appreciation to you, massive thanks to you, and hopefully we'll see you. Maybe we'll see you guys again later on this evening, and hopefully look forward to seeing some people there, and do not hesitate to drop a comment if you've got any feedbacks for me, any words of support, encouragement, any words of criticism as well. If there's something that you're not happy with, or something you don't agree with what I've said, do not hesitate to drop a comment down below, and yeah, we'll see you guys later on. Ciao for now. Goodbye.